authorities believing at this point the suspected gunman acted alone and published a manifesto.
I just want to know that she's not in that building and that nobody's taking care of her.
It's horrible.
We have a problem here, but my gosh, the solution is us.
Santa Fe, Sutherland Springs, El Paso, Texas, these things are going to continue to happen if we don't take action. Tragedy met our community here with a senseless act of racial violence here, where 22 people were gunned down and over 20 people were wounded. So I think as someone who represents the community that was attacked, I will be vocal in making my community's voice heard.
Select Committee on Mass Violence Prevention and Community Safety will come to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Darby.
Here.
Navarez. Blanco. Here. Capriglione.
Here.
Guerin.
Here. My commitment to you is that we will listen, we will work, and we will engage in a serious conversation. I want to thank Governor Abbott for his quick and comprehensive response and his executive orders to address some of our system's shortcomings.
We have in place a working model that is good, but we know that we need to both expand and improve upon those efforts.
Governor Greg Abbott issued 8 executive orders to move from reaction to prevention, and he's directed that the Department of Public Safety take specific actions.
The governor has suggested increasing the presence of suspicious activity reporting.
You'll often hear him say, if you see something, say something. I think that's one component of this.
Every person has got to be aware of their surroundings and be able to and willing to report suspicious activity when they see it.
I'm currently the director of the Matrix Fusion Center in El Paso. It's a fusion of many different agencies, local, state, and federal. Analysts, sworn civilian employees who gather intelligence. We have Department of Public Safety, El Paso Sheriff's Department, El Paso Police Department, obviously. The Fusion Center is designed to get all those units, agencies together so they share information. There's only a finite amount of information we can go through with the staff we have, but that's certainly the more people, the more eyes, the more technology, the more programs we have helping us uncover that information, the better opportunity we have to prevent something from happening.
There are a handful of fusion centers in Texas, but not every area has them, correct?
Correct.
We saw the mother of the individual who came here had reported to the police that she didn't believe her son should own this type of weapon. That's a red flag.
Do you think that anything could have been done to stop what he had planned earlier?
If the mother of this individual had reported something to police and there was no action taken as a result of that, or no process in place for police to take action in coordination with state police, we as legislators need to implement those type of requirements so that these tragedies don't happen.
This system has existed for years.
While it exists, it's not being utilized as it should be, and we as policymakers need to implement policies that require this type of communication.
My son Dylan is a firefighter, and he's been on the El Paso Fire Department for several years. He was one of the first on the scene. He was actually in Walmart when he called me to let me know he was okay. The dead were still in there, and he saw everything. The one person that really understands is his dad. You know, one of the few people that's been through it.
What's it like for you as a wife and a mother to have a family that was touched by mass violence twice?
My son and my husband were both involved in the 2 largest shootings in El Paso. So it's sad that I have 2, members going through that.